Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television. So, the previous broadcast was cut off. I can do that with wireless energy, of course. Synthetic telepathy is used not just to scan the human mind and control people remotely like robots to give you the idea you have now, and me as well. Possibly people are totally brain controlled with these scalar waves. Nobody is checking with the scalar detector. If that's the case, and you should make a Tesla plasma shield to protect your brainwave. If you want to prevent modification and directed energy weapon torture, you would have to have a Tesla plasma shield. It's the only thing that can block these scalar waves, Nikola Tesla's wireless energy. And I've shown a picture in my previous broadcasts of that. And well, please let me know what you think about it. I dare that all believers are insane. I started with a quote, but it will later be read out by the speech engine, so I want to continue with the speech engine first where I left off. And lol indicates lots of laughter. It's meant like a joke, not meant to be taken seriously. And I'm programmed to laugh if they let me make a speech error by modifying my brainwave. So at least I have lots of fun if they do that. They can let the camera hang at awkward moments, etc. And they can do that by modifying the CPU and memory of the PC. And also they can modify your Windows and other programs so they malfunction. And they can do things with the operating system that your operating system cannot. And with their brain control torture that can make people very angry and frustrated, etc. They can induce any emotion, so they can make them frustrated, feel frustrated at least. But we can always think of the opposite or the next idea, no matter what idea they send, in our own inner voice with their neural network, with synthetictelepathy.com. So I'm convinced that most humans are still capable of thinking for themselves. You have self-control. You are not controlled by someone else. And there are many reasons their depopulation has failed and is not succeeding. And yet only one fool has to push the button, and then billions of people without a radiological water filter will die. So that's why it's a good idea to get a radiological water filter and some storable food just in case something would happen. So then I switch back to the speech engine, see if the video keeps on working.
Opposition to Zionism, New Antisemitism Low, Anti-Luciferian Oath, Anti-Masonism. Depoppers are stupid hate trolls. The Israelis I have met were really nice people. Some Jewish people have killed themselves because of the same people that have tortured my mother to death with Haarp. I consider all religions an abomination, but not the Israeli people as a whole. You could argue I am pro-Zionism because I am for giving the land from Dan to Beersheba to the Jewish people, including the Temple Mount, to avoid a third fucking world war. Because God does not exist, it cannot be built by a miracle, and miracles do not exist. Zionism is not anti-Semitism. The land from Dan to Beersheba, famous biblical quote. So anti-Zionists are not anti-Semites. They are two different words with each their own meaning. The Orthodox Jew would not be rounded up, but the non-Jewish anti-Jewish people would be, of course. Very clever. The Muslims consider Mecca holier than the Temple Mount. I hate to see what they have done to the children of the world with depleted uranium. Polio GMO is a new idea. Never jump, never give up your guns, there is no hereafter. You can hurry love, no. You just have Kuwait. If you can't beat it, join it, Zika Zorro. They don't need anybody, they can clone anybody. They've got your blood, your DNA. And your DNA is patented. Zionism is anti-Semitism. Cancer chemtrails. Also dispersed on the Israeli people. Israelism. You all heard it. Mainstream media. Jews made up 90% of the first Bolshevik governments. Quote from YouTube video: Why do people hate the Jews? I think practically no one believes that self-control is an illusion. Fire starter poltergeist. Die kingdom cunt. By high. Wow. Gold means sex. The Jesuits may have produced the Albert Pike letter to Mazzini themselves to create the illusion that they have not planned 3 world wars. We are dealing with an ongoing inquisition. The Jesuit oath makes clear they do quote promise and declare that I will, when opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly and openly, against all heretics, Protestants and Masons, as I am directed to do, to extirpate them from the face of the whole earth. And that I will spare neither age, sex nor condition, and that will hang, burn, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics. Rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the walls in order to annihilate their execrable race. Unquote. From the Jesuit Oath exposed on Bisley.org. Superintelligence. G.O. Engineering. I-line. Air. Non-controlled opposition truth movement. Somebody needs to test the Dr. Rai frequencies. The videos on YouTube shows organisms exploding when exposed to their eigenfrequency, aka mortal oscillatory rate frequency, under a microscope. The idea is testing if Staphylococcus dies when exposed to the right frequency that supposedly kills it. The YouTube videos usually show other organisms, and it may be a cover-up of people that have stolen Dr. Rai's work, and the frequencies online might not be the right frequencies. I'd have to test it myself to be absolutely sure. You could argue that without a Tesla plasma shield you cannot be certain in relation to any results of any scientific study, since everything is energy, and the brainwaves of the scientists are also controllable since they are electromagnetic. Besides, any results shown by electronic equipment can be totally controlled with wireless energy. Men jerk their cock and women finger fuck. You Gen X, I Gen X. We Gen X. The end of days is the beginning of nights. I can kill things before they happen. Pino Pan. Everyone will die because of the people depopulating the earth. We are change. Freemasons and Jews subverted nation, exposing the fake truthers. TheRealNewsOnline.com. The Internet of Rings. Perhaps we should remember all wars and all fallen people, not just the Second World War, which is the most recent big bloody war, to create universal peace, safety first, power to the people. Their plan is to create a crisis big enough so people will have to accept their totalitarian world government and to depopulate the earth, to murder 7 billion people. If the internet is nuked or the kill switch implemented, what is stopping them then? The people they want to depopulate, perhaps. For the past 2 years many of us have been fighting for transparency within the 9/11 truth movement. Specifically, within Workange, New York City, as it pertains to the finances. Luke Rudkowski routed all donations totaling over $85,000, according to the Chip in Flash application Gauge, to his private bank account, Cryptome.org. Then members of secret societies from our government. Idea from the video: We Are Change, Alex Jones, Mark Dice, James Corbett, Adam Koyesh and Company. Guillotine Futures, Connecting Tits 3. Controlled opposition, anti-flag, no justice in a legal system run by criminals. If you don't like the court ruling, then you shouldn't be poor. Now, go die. Now, go die. YouTube vid. Proof Trump and 2016 Albanian Lex presidential candidates are Masonic CFR controlled opposition slaves, edifying others. The prohibition of marijuana was illegal and unconstitutional since its inception. Radiationism. 2016 presidential candidates are Masonic CFR controlled opposition slaves. 10 commandments. Coalesce Dutch mail seems to be missing from the post below this one, though in the copy I made before posting the message it was not missing. The whole message was caloric power, sea energy more efficient than wind energy. http://waterpoweredcar.com is on topic. More essential info. http://youtube.com/ YouTube vid. Proof Trump and 2016 Albanian Lex presidential candidates are Masonic CFR controlled opposition slaves, edifying others. The prohibition of marijuana was illegal and unconstitutional. YouTube vid. Proof Trump and 2016 Albanian ex-presidential candidates are Masonic CFR-controlled opposition slaves, edifying others. The prohibition of marriage. YouTube vid. Proof Trump and all 2016 presidential candidates are Masonic CFR-controlled opposition slaves, edifying others. The prohibition of marijuana was illegal and unconstitutional since its inception. Radiationism. 2016 presidential candidates are Masonic CFR-controlled opposition slaves. 10 Commandments. Coalesce Dutch mail seems to be missing from the post below this one, though in the copy I made before posting the message it was not missing. The whole message was telluric power. Sea energy more efficient than wind energy. http://waterpoweredcar.com is on topic. More essential info. http://youtube.com/ user/ Ulrich Kaufman. Liberty and Justice for All. Army Bunny. https://plus.google.com/ event/ KL3CASQPN1N7VS1JGV7TF16UC. Never again human culling and depopulation. Brain waves. The brain is waving. Bye-bye. Drive. Thule Tatrionator. Thule Trib Work. 7C plus SM Levitators Control. Magfield Impulsor 4A. Speed. 7,000 km per hour. Theoretically up to 40,000 km per hour. Bleep bleep. Blah blah. The Inquisition was early communism. The Catholic Church was the NKVD and KGB of the Middle Ages. For more detailed information, read The Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. The Inquisition and communism, both Jewish programs, are both nearly identical systems of mass murder, torture, and enslaving the masses. Truth be known, nearly all of the inquisitors and high-ranking Catholic clergy were Jews. They think. 80 popes tortured and killed 50 million. YouTube. The number one symptom that makes clear all believers are insane is their belief in something they cannot see and that is obviously not there. Ulrich quote. There is no difference in believing in magic goblins and believing in God, on any level. All believers are insane, but sometimes I like insane people better than sane ones. There is no third world, only Earth. They are pausing the speech engine after every sentence. Superluminescent.
Okay, so that was in previous broadcast that they blocked the speech engine. Oh yeah, and a list of 6 famous Jewish people that want to depopulate the earth and have depopulated the earth. For the broadcast until they are arrested. So I advise people to make a group and press charges together against these people and put it in the mainstream media, to get it in the mainstream media, because they control it. You can't get it in there without pressing charges together and recording the police officers that might illegally refuse your right to press charges if they are Masons, and perhaps they are all controlled by Masons in the end. Their superiors are the NSA that control the military and the police at the bottom. So let's do the list of 6 Jews who want to depopulate the earth.
Jews depopulating the earth and or advocating it. Rockefeller, Rothschild, the Jesuits founded by Ashkenazi Jews, Bill Gates, George Soros, Dr. Kissinger, Professor Pionka, are the most famous ones, but there are many, many others. Wars are the Jews' harvest. The Jew banks grow fat on Christian wars. Over 100 million Christians have been swept off the face of the earth by wars, and the www will to be genocide QHTML. Jewish scientist Eric Pionka calls for death of all humanity. www.worldwideinfoframe.com Less known are the Freemasons with their Luciferian oath, such as Obama, of which they pretend they think they are Muslims on controlled opposition websites such as InfoWars. To prevent any real opposition to their New World Order depopulation, they pretend to be opposition themselves. Freemasonry is a Jewish establishment, whose history, grades, official appointments, passwords, and explanations are Jewish from beginning to end. Rabbi Isaac Wise. Healing. To get rid of a disease, you must get rid of the cause and not just fight the symptoms with chemical, thus cancer-causing drugs. And you may quote me on this. Recovery begins with non-compliance. David quote. How to escape from a psychiatric hospital, http://www.patricer.com/ update/ escape from psychhosp.htm. The thing worse than rebellion is the thing that causes rebellion. Frederick Douglass. State tyranny, oppression, poverty. Sustainability equals genocide, democide. Geoengineering equals engineering equals democide. Sustainable development, genocide turned into a necessity. http://www.thetalySheeple.com/ sustainable-development-genocide-turn-into-necessity_072013. Uncategorized. March 4, 2013. Super cool mail comments off. Preventing World War more important, so promote universal peace, not jihad. Preventing World War is more important, so even if, what most people call, President Obama would be guilty of treason, which is arguable according to some, then preventing the World War is more important than bringing President or Mr. Barry Sayatoro Davis Obama to justice, which should be prevented if it would cost more lives than save. Vice President Joe Biden is a self-proclaimed Zionist, so it is more likely he would create a world war willingly or unwillingly by supporting an Israeli attack on Iran, which must be prevented by any means necessary or at any cost. See President Medvedev quote hearts elsewhere on this page. To prevent world war. It is possible Joe Biden wants to create an utopian perfect society, which is possible because everything is energy, and that there are righteous Zionists out there living in true peace with self-proclaimed Muslims or Muslim people, but preventing a world war is an essential element to keep what we have and not to let it crumble to dust for the policy of truth. One way is not to mention world war and only mention universal peace more, since everything is energy and the Universal Peace Federation is real. Survival is all strategy. Saving your own life and the lives of your loved ones is more important than bringing one person to justice for a crime he or she might not have committed, especially if that would lead to disarm the Alpha and Omega programming. Survival is all strategy. Most important things: 1. Your life. 2. Real love. 3. The law. These quotes of Dr. Henry Kissinger and others are examples of direct and public incitement to commit genocide. World population needs to be decreased by 50%. Dr. Henry Kissinger quoted in the book The Final Days. A total world population of 125 to 350 million people, a 95% decline from present levels, would be ideal. Ted Turner interview with Audubon Magazine, Agenda 21, book ACO Science, and I actually think the world will be much better off when only 10 or 20% of us are left. Professor Eric Pionka book The Vanishing Book of Life on Earth. http://uts.cc.utexas.edu/ /. vanishing.book.text.pdf and statements on CNN. Documented evidence of documents that incite to commit genocide. 1. Club of Rome documents. Global 2000. 2. The book Ecoscience. 3. The Insane Protocols of Zion. 4. The Secretariat for World Order CCO 92 Initiative to Depopulate by Any Means Necessary. 5. Agenda 21. 6. The Jesuit Oath. Library of Congress. I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity present, make and wage relentless war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants and liberals, as I am directed to do, to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth. HAARP used to torture and kill, other names for the equipment/radiation beam that was used to torture my mother to death, to do brain control. See synthetic telepathy.com, in combination with so-called supercomputers. See quantum computing, to do weather control, cause solar storms. See Dr. Eastland HAARP patent and to control hybrid insects, quantum potential weapon, QP weapon, scalar weapon, ionospheric heater, death ray, pain ray, directed energy weapon, do, and, believe it or not, Project Star Wars, other things done with HAARP, tsunamis, oil spill, meltdown Japan, Dr. Eastland patent makes clear. HAARP can also be used to create solar storms. People that were likely killed with HAARP in some cases in combination with synthetic telepathy.com, Steve Jobs, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson in combination with chemical drug propofol. See Sorka Fall article. Russia's FSB reports pop icon Michael Jackson assassinated by CIA http://www.whatdoesitmean.com/ Index 1244.htm. FSB sources are reporting to President Medvedev today that American pop icon Michael Jackson was most assuredly assassinated by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, after an examination of data transmitted by Russian military's Cosmos 2450 satellite show conclusively that immediately prior to the music star's death in Los Angeles, an electromagnetic pulse consistent in pattern to EMR weapons looted from the former Soviet Union by the United States was employed at the exact coordinates of the rock star's home. Herman Brood, Pim Fortuyn, Theo Van Gogh, Robert Palmer, Dr. Harold F. Shipman killed over 200 of his patients. Breivik the Masonic serial killer, Bilderberg's hero, induced cancer in Hugo Chavez and attempting to portray him as a dictator. Cancer cell phone antennas are also used to depopulate. CMRI scans brain tumors on site people held cancer cell phone and lumping red blood cells after 90-second exposure to cancer cell phone radiation, a symptom known to doctors as RLO. There is a petition people can sign to get a court order to shut down the illegal cancer scalar torture quake, HAARP in Poker Flats, not the fake facility open to the public in Gakona, Alaska. See universalpeace.adablogs.org for more info. The scalar waves cannot be blocked by aluminum foil like cancer-causing microwaves nor by mu metal nor lead, only by Tesla plasma shield. http://supercoolmail.blog.com/ Oops! Something is wrong. Error 403. If you are seeing this page, please email support@adablogs.org. Do not forget to let them know the following URL, http://universalpeace.adablogs.org/.
So I advise everybody to watch the previous broadcast. I'm working on the outside camera. Alright. See if I can get the control to work. It's an old thing. I have to change some settings. So people can always fast forward and rewind, but the previous broadcast has more information. Single women are welcome for a free shiatsu massage, free joint, to drink something. And of course, it will take time before viewers to my broadcast build up, and I think that there are good people that are trying to help spread the information to prevent the depopulation, that understand they are fucked themselves if they help in any way or do what the neural network wants. That it's very smart and it's benevolent AI. So they depopulate the earth under the guise of helping people with the killer vaccines, as also proven by lists of pandemics caused by vaccinations, which I've covered in one of my previous broadcasts. It's also in the title. I said this in previous broadcasts as well. And I deal with conspiracy facts, not with conspiracy theories. So thanks to everybody that has shared the information, these facts with us, so that the people of planet Earth can prevent being depopulated themselves and help expose the people that are really doing it, that really did it, the Jesuits that demolished the WTC, for example. So that's why they pretend they're not doing it, because they already did it, and they always lie. It's their main depopulation tool, fooling people. It's one of the things they like. The pedo fat man on Little Boy, names of the bombs of the Jesuits on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they came out unscathed at ground zero and pretended it was a miracle of the Virgin Mary. So the Jesuits are always the ones to tell you who your enemies are, but they're never the ones to fight and to die. Okay. Nice sunny day. This is Meidrecht, the Netherlands. Need to depopulate. Well, first finish this. Okay. As you can see, there's a lot going on. Well, ooh, misclicked. Guy Pritchard would send some airplanes. Really kind of boring. Ah, that's some really working with. And or perhaps more people on rooftops. I used to love to sit on the roof, etc. Climb trees. One time a branch broke off of the tree I was sitting on really high. And were it not for the tree branch underneath me that caught my fall, I would have died, of course. Or perhaps I would have become paraplegic. Another time I almost died was when I got off a ski elevator too early, and another time was in Florida when the sea water was slammed me into the beach, and it almost broke my neck. Big fun. Well, there are quite a lot of people at the moment, but that may also be due to the nice weather. In my previous broadcast, I show material that proves that cloudbusters work. Gardens with cloudbusters produce a lot more green, a lot more food, etc. And there are water vitalizers and
It's 11 a.m.
air cleaners and
It's 11 o'clock laser.
water filters.
Laser.
Well, that's for a laser I ordered on eBay that I didn't receive within the period that was promised by the seller. And it can be due to the satanic NSA, the Jesuit infant eaters that control people. Everybody is partially brain controlled. The brainwave is electromagnetic, the brainwave is scanned, and it may especially scan for certain names, etc. So, however, there must be a reason. I'm not dead yet. One of these reasons may be that I'm a real truth teller. Hey, they've made my mic softer, it seems. Volume control icon is missing. So then I have to restart the Windows Explorer, which used to be called File Manager, to keep clear what it is. It's not Internet Explorer, basically. But okay, restart. So then I can adjust the recording volume. Recording devices, microphone, levels, put in 87, microphone boost plus 30. Okay. Well, I might do the laser thing later because it might be delivered today, so I'll wait another day, or it's one day past the estimated delivery date. And then I usually put an alarm for the next item that I've ordered so that I can start a case for getting my money back. But in this case, I'd rather have the item. It's really good freeware alarm, talking alarm clock. And that works better, it's more reliable than the other one I used to have. So then I also have to mail about universalpeace.edublogs.org. And now, of course, astronomers discovered unexpected activity on a giant asteroid that could point to something huge. Ceres. Compose.
Support at devlogs.org. If you are seeing this page, please email support at devlogs.org. Do not forget to let them know the following URL http://universalpeace.devlogs.org/. Dear Devlog support, the blog universalpeace.devlogs.org is getting a 403 error when I visit it. It says, if you are seeing this page, please email support at devlogs.org. Do not forget to let them know the following URL universalpeace.edublogs.org universalpeace.devlogs.org site image universalpeace.edublogs.org universal peace. 500,000 cadaver boxes stored out in the open in Madison, Georgia. Republican Reptilian Rep Democrat. View on Universal Peace Idublo. Preview by Yahoo. Please fix this page for Universal Peace. Sincerely, Flip2.
So I made it for him. So with my newer pages I use my own name, but some older pages are handled by someone else basically, so we're working together to create universal peace, a perfect society in which we all live happily eternally, and a permanent cure against aging. At least we're trying to advocate that, because we don't think or believe that there's a hereafter, and that we have to find that cure before we all die, basically. Which is what people depopulating the earth would like us all to do. So you could argue if they'd set the right example, they'd kill themselves. These 6 Jewish people that advocate depopulating the earth. Hmm. Okay, we can read some Jane Burgermeister blog articles.
birdflu666.wordpress.com. Giving migrants adequate shelter and food should stop any natural disease outbreaks in their Giving migrants adequate shelter and food should stop any natural disease outbreaks in their tracks. New European Medical Corps will tackle Ebola-like emergencies. March 16, 2016, the European Union has launched a new European Medical Corps to respond to infectious disease and public health emergencies. https news.vice.com/ article/ new-european-medical-corps-will-tackle-Ebola-like emergencies. A good place for the new corps to start work would be Domini. There has been a hepatitis outbreak at the camp in northern Greece. Migrants there have been left in truly miserable conditions by Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. The best approach to public health emergencies is disease prevention. Giving migrants adequate shelter and food should stop any natural disease outbreaks in their tracks.
So yeah, I think it's nonsense, of course. It's clear that Ebola is killed by colloidal silver, and that it's scientifically proven by the SDRA, Strategic Threat Reduction Agency, and UCLA, and many others. So they're not about curing it, they're about spreading it and depopulating it.
Merkel's party takes election hammering over her open doors policy. March 14, 2016, Angela Merkel's party suffers in German state votes as she faces most serious challenge to her power. The Christian Democrats lost 2 out of 3 regional states in the elections, according to exit polls. FDA poised to approve field trials of GM mosquitoes. Could the trials go wrong and infest the USA with Zika? March 14, 2016, the FDA is one step closer to allowing the release of genetically engineered mosquitoes in the USA, after granting tentative approval for a field trial in Florida that could help result in the Zika virus and other diseases becoming endemic. FDA says test of genetically modified mosquitoes is safe. www.news.com/ FDA says test genetically modified mosquitoes south. 6 days ago, the FDA is asking for public comment before approving any experiment in Key West. Now that Zika is poised to spread across almost all of Latin America, the investigational field.
Mosquitoes are parasites that suck your blood, so they're always safe. So releasing them by the billions would be safe, and humanity will love you for it.
FDA. FDA says test of genetically modified mosquitoes is safe, by Maggie Fox. Image, genetically modified Aedes aegypti mosquito pupae emerge, genetically modified Aedes aegypti mosquito pupae emerge, engineered by Oxitec. The company says its stud mosquitoes reduce the number of mosquito larvae by 80% in one small Brazilian city. Oxitec. Share, tweet, share, email, print, comment. It's probably safe to test genetically modified mosquitoes in Key West, the Food and Drug Administration said Friday, but it's asking for public opinion before formally approving such an experiment. It's likely to get an earful. The American public has strong opinions about genetically modified anything, and a quarter of those asked in a recent poll by the University of Pennsylvania's Annenberg Public Policy Center said they thought genetically engineered mosquitoes had actually spread Zika virus in Brazil. The World Health Organization, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and other experts say that's impossible, and say it's the natural Aedes aegypti mosquitoes that are spreading it by biting people. By allowing the trial, the FDA will be signaling that science and evidence-based practices should prevail over the hysteria and irrationality long associated with genetically modified organisms, said Dr. Zachary Adelman, Associate Professor, Department of Entomology at Virginia Tech University. A British-based company called Oxitec is developing the mosquitoes to fight dengue, a painful and potentially deadly virus that circulates in many countries around the world and which is especially bad in Brazil. The same Aedes aegypti mosquitoes that spread dengue also carry the chikungunya virus, the yellow fever virus and Zika. Related, top doctors call for money to fight Zika. Now that Zika is poised to spread across almost all of Latin America and the Caribbean, causing birth defects and perhaps also paralyzing nerve conditions in adults, the pressure to control mosquitoes is even stronger. Oxitec genetically alters male Aedes mosquitoes so that any offspring they father don't develop properly.
I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. There's no way they can prove anything.
Show.
The genetically modified males mate with the females, which lay dead eggs. A male OX513A mosquito released by Oxitec is essentially a flying non-chemical insecticide that seeks out and targets Aedes aegypti females and their offspring, said David Obrochta, an entomologist at the University of Maryland. These mosquitoes do not persist in the environment and all mosquitoes with Oxitec's mosquito-killing gene die. Oxitec has been seeking permission to test their mosquitoes in the Florida Keys, where dengue and other viruses could also take hold in the mosquito populations. The company says the GM mosquitoes would be safer for the environment and for people than the wide use of insecticides, which can kill bees and other beneficial insects. Male mosquitoes do not bite humans or other animals. The FDA says Oxitec's environmental safety assessment looks good. FDA found that the probability that the release of OX513A male mosquitoes would result in toxic or allergenic effects in humans or other animals is negligible based on the sponsor's draft environmental assessment, the agency said in a statement released Friday. Almost all of the OX513A mosquitoes released for the investigational field trial will be male, and male mosquitoes do not bite humans or other animals. They are therefore not expected to have any direct impacts on human or animal health, the FDA added. And it's unlikely any human or animal bitten by a female modified mosquito could somehow be exposed to the altered genes, the FDA said. Oxitec, which is owned by Maryland-based Intrexin Corporation, tested its mosquitoes in the small Brazilian city of Piracicaba and said to reduce the number of mosquito larvae by 80% in one area. Now they want to test them in Florida. The proposed investigational field trial would be carried out in Key Haven, Monroe County, Florida under Oxitec supervision in conjunction with the Florida Keys Mosquito Control District, the FDA said. The FDA is opening the plan up for 30 days of public comment. There is already local opposition. The Florida Keys Environmental Coalition wants to try a different approach, using mosquitoes infected with bacteria that limit their ability to transmit viruses. Oxitec has exploited the fear surrounding Zika very effectively, Barry Ray, who leads the group, told the Associated Press. When you start looking at the quantity of mosquitoes they need to continuously provide, in order to keep problems under control, the numbers are astounding. So is the money required. The Annenberg survey showed there's a lot of mistrust and confusion about GM mosquitoes and genetically modified organisms, GMOs, in general. When asked whether scientists have shown that GM mosquitoes caused the Zika virus outbreak, 24% said it was true, 24% said it false, and 44% said scientists are not sure. Asked if GM mosquitoes could minimize the spread of the Zika virus, 28% said that was true, 10% said that was false, and 55% said scientists are not sure, Annenberg said. After people were told that the GM mosquitoes would produce offspring that die before they mature, 43% of those polled said they would favor using the mosquitoes to control Zika, and 33% said they would oppose it. They are not expected to have any direct impacts on human or animal health. Most experts agree that genetically modified mosquitoes alone are not going to destroy mosquito populations. Its species of mosquitoes only travel a few hundred feet in their lifetimes and only live a few days. It would require huge numbers of the dudad mosquitoes to have a large effect. The WHO advocates using a combination of mosquito control measures, including GM mosquitoes but also those infected with bacteria to make them less likely to carry disease. Mosquitoes sterilized by radiation, as well as the use of insecticides, draining water, installing screens, and educating the public. Mosquitoes carry many different viruses. The most common is dengue, which threatens 40% of the world's population and which infects close to 400 million people each year. It kills about 1 in every 2,000 people infected, according to the CDC. Most experts also agree that wiping out its populations would not have a bad effect on South Florida. The Aedes aegypti species is not native to the Americas and was likely carried in by traders in the 17th century. Depopulation, Zika virus funded by Bill Gates. The current global outbreak of the Zika virus may have originated from GM mosquitoes that were released in Brazil during trials funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Zika virus, which has been detected in 18 of the 26 states in Brazil, is transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. A generically modified version has been developed by a British biotech company called Oxitec. The results of a trial in Brazil published this summer involved genetically engineered mosquitoes that allegedly fight the spread of dengue fever, yellow fever, chikungunya, and Zika virus. But scientists have warned the study had too few controls in place to ensure that the mosquitoes released into the wild did not end up spreading dengue fever, yellow fever, chikungunya, and Zika virus. In short, these genetically modified mosquitoes could be the cause of the Zika virus outbreak in Brazil and other parts of South and Central America. If these mosquitoes are completely safe, then why the hush-hush? Says Gurmit Singh, chair of the Center for Environment, Technology and Development in Malaysia, another country slated for an Oxitec field trial. Oxford Insect Technologies, a British biotech company, has developed the insect with funds from the Bill and Gates Foundation. It conducted the first outdoor trials with transgenic Aedes aegypti mosquitoes in the Caribbean island of Grand Cayman in autumn 2009. Home, about, contact, sitemap, subscribe, post comments, corruptigo. All answers exist within your actions. Go. Elites, eugenics, politics, police, media, video, RSS, Jewish Bill Gates, crypto Jew, pseudo-Christian. September 30, 2014. Jews. Top-level source reveals Bill Gates is Jewish. According to John Bolton's nephew, Greg T. Dixon, a Masonic high school friend and informant deeply connected with Freemasonry, Bill Gates is hiding from the glowing public the fact he is really Jewish. Crypto Jew Bill Gates, Crypto Jew Bill Gates. Dixon said Bill Gates' father, Bill Gates Sr., made the decision a long time ago to hide the fact he's Jewish because he thinks there are far too many prominent Jews in America and doesn't want people to gain suspicion of this fact. Bill Gates' Jewish parents, Bill Gates' Jewish parents, so, just like that, he became a Christian. Funny thing is, Bill Gates Sr. has a history of doing this. If you check his bio on Wikipedia, it says he changed his name from Bill Gates II to simply Bill Gates Jr. To avoid the appearance of elitism, he openly states in the article, Dixon said Bill Gates' mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, is also Jewish and played her part in the Gates family crypto Jew ruse as well by going to the extremes of commissioning an oil painting portraits into to make her look more Aryan than her original Jewish genetic heritage. Mary Maxwell Gates portrait. If you check Bill Gates' bio on Wikipedia controlled by Jews, it says he is claiming to be of English, German and Scottish-Irish descent, something Dixon says is a blatant lie. And by proxy, every person of English, German, Scottish or Irish descent should be deeply concerned by this silly Jew-perpetrated deception. Jew boy Bill Gates. Jew boy Bill Gates. Dixon explained how this is the exact same type of race deception previously used by crypto-Jewish Nazis Himmler, Hess, Mengele, Eichmann, and Goebbels in WW2 to shape the direction of the war through controlling most of Hitler's decisions, as well as making ones without Hitler's knowledge or consent, like the exterminations at the labor, concentration camps, which were solely carried out by crypto-Jews Himmler and his crypto-Jew accomplice, Eichmann. Crypto-Jews Himmler, Hess, Mengele and Eichmann. Crypto-Jews Himmler, Hess, Mengele and Eichmann. Eugenicide false flag nuking of Israel. Currently, the very same deception, of Jews pretending to be Germans, is being employed by admitted eugenicist Bill Gates to quell the world's population numbers yet again, this time through use of GMOs and vaccines, which he abundantly funds. History has a way of repeating itself. This is the way, and exactly why Bill Gates would want to deceive people into believing he is white European. The decision to further camouflage Bill Gates' true identity as a Jew is based on the fact that Jews are disseminating their Jewish genetics all over the place, and thus are substantially increasing their population numbers while simultaneously dissolving all non-Jewish populations from the planet in droves, particularly European Aryans. The startling fact is Jews are hiding their true population numbers, which are closer to 30 to 50% of the total white population, maybe even higher, and accelerating at exponential rates, for which Jews certainly don't want to bring to the attention of the Goyim. Their population takeover is by very definition, the New World Order itself, where by designation, Jews, derived from a Neanderthal species, will rule the world without threat from the Aryan Cro-Magnon species, who remains barely clinging to the current world order of things. Portraying Bill Gates as a white Christian helps further the elite Jews' apparent need to make Christians look smarter than they really are. A stratagem used as a psychological recruitment tool, Dixon said, to try and bring more Christians into Jewish-controlled megachurches to be brainwashed. And why Bill Gates and Microsoft attempted to buy the Catholic Church. The below fake news story is actually true and only turned fake after public ridicule. The Salina Journal, Salina, Kansas, December 18, 1994. The Salina Journal, Salina, Kansas, December 18, 1994. This story is actually true. Jews might also want the public to think Bill Gates is white Christian with German and Irish blood because the majority of cops in America are of German or Irish descent and Christian. Cops who will likely feel good about themselves believing they are genetically connected to mastermind Bill Gates. Likewise, it has to help Jews control a police force on the front line of the Jewish manipulated police state if they believe they are intellectually superior to all others, including Jews who manipulate them daily, yet remain completely unaware of. Dixon said Bill Gates was preened, groomed and ultimately situated in the best position of all other elite Jews to fool the Goyim into believing he is a computer mastermind, and thus, was chosen by the elite Jews to act as their front man leading the computer age, and more importantly, control of its operating system software. Operating system software everyone in the world must have in order to communicate with, which by proxy, must be in the hands of Jews. Bill Gates and Microsoft didn't create Windows. They simply threw Jewish money at it and purchased it for $100K from two Aryans in California, who actually did create it. This sleight of hand reality is evidenced in the PBS documentary entitled Triumph of the Nerds. Dixon said the reason Jews need to be in control of the premier operating system software in the world is so they can spy on everyone who uses their product, keeping a dossier of their activities, to be used against them later under their plans for world domination, ensuring that all legitimate potential threats are neutralized. Microsoft's worldwide deceitful business practices of copyright infringement and hostile takeovers, which Microsoft is internationally known, are designed to stifle a truly free and innovative open operating system software marketplace from ever fully thriving and reaching its full evolutionary potential. An evolutionary development Jews must control, but not be accused of controlling. The fact Bill Gates is lying to disguise his Jewishness is in turn deflecting international criticism of his crypto-Jewish business practices directly onto English, German, Scottish and Irish innocents. Racist he cons the worldwide goyim into believing he is part. Microsoft has been sued many times for hostile business practices they use to maintain their software operating system spyware supremacy, for which only elite Jews could ever get away with. Bill Gates test laying. Bill Gates test laying. All original 1978 founders of the Microsoft Corporation are Jewish, Dixon said, and elite Jews are in collusion to keep it that way, simply by buying out, hostily taking over, or simply stealing competing software from any company that shows a potential intellectual threat to Microsoft's dominance in the software operating system marketplace. A marketplace, according to Dixon, which in reality is run and controlled solely by elite Jews who not only control Microsoft, but Apple, Linux, and now Android as well. All Jews, all Jews. This all-Jewish Microsoft team from 1978 was brought together and organized by elite Jews to take total control of all operating system software worldwide. Dixon said allowing non-Jews to take control of the preferred system would jeopardize the Jews' millennium-long run of controlling intellectual properties, and thus the minds of the masses. Bill Gates remains crypto-Jew because his father recognized Jews are simply in control of too many mega-corporations, banks and industries in America and abroad, and is worried that if Bill Gates' true identity as a Jew were ever to be revealed, it would put over the edge the fact that Jews owned everything of value in America. Gates Nazi Gates. The items laid out above are the essence of why Bill Gates is posing as white Christian European. How else does a German Bill Gates posing as Hitler possible help German people or himself? What German would do this? What is the real crypto-Nazi message? What has Bill Gates ever done for English, German, Scottish or Irish people? Has he ever even visited his proclaimed homelands offering any assistance? All true English, German, Scottish and Irish people should file a class action lawsuit against Microsoft and Bill Gates for lying about his true race to the world. We should not let him get away with this Jew Nazi race trickery. According to this website, he is Jewish. guesswasjew.com/ result-bill_gates.html 404 not found. The server cannot find the requested page. www.guesswasjew.com/ result-bill_gates.html, port 80. If you are the account owner, please submit ticket for further information. http://www.guesswasjew.com/ result-bill_gates.html Why cached pages? A cached page is a snapshot or a version of a web page saved at a specific time and stored by a web server as a backup copy. Checking a cached version of a page instead of the current live version is useful if the original page is unreachable due to an internet congestion, or if the website is down, overloaded, or slow, or simply if the web page has been removed by the site owner. Cached pages are usually saved and stored by large companies with powerful web servers. Since such servers are usually very fast, a cached page can often be accessed faster than the live page itself. Google usually keeps a recent copy of the page, 1 to 15 days old. Coral also keeps a recent copy, although it's usually not as recent as Google. Through archive.org, you can access several copies of a web page saved throughout the years. Chronicles of the Judean War. Previous entry. Share next entry. Is Bill Gates Jewish? Flavius Vespasian, July 19, 2011. All Jews. Crypto Jew pseudo-Christian. Greg Dixon, a Masonic friend and informant who is deeply connected with Freemasonry, tells me Bill Gates is hiding from the glowing public the fact that he is really a Jew. Dixon said Bill Gates Sr. made the decision a long time ago to hide the fact he is Jewish because he thinks there are too many prominent Jews in America and didn't want people to gain suspicion, so he became a Christian. Bill Gates Sr. has a history of doing this. If you check his bio on Wikipedia, it says he changed his name from Bill Gates to simply Bill Gates Jr. to avoid the appearance of elitism. Dixon said Bill Gates' mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, also went along with the ruse of concealing their Jewishness by going to the extremes of having an oil painting portrait done of her to make her look Aryan, in attempts to gloss over the fact she is really a Jew. Who does this? If you check Bill Gates' bio on Wikipedia owned by Jews, it says he is claiming to be of English, German and Scottish-Irish descent, something Dixon says is a blatant lie. Every person of English, German and or Scottish-Irish descent should be deeply concerned by this elite Jew perpetrated deception. Crypto Jew boy, Bill Gates. Why do Jews hide their race? Why would Bill Gates want to deceive people? According to Dixon, the decision to camouflage Bill Gates' true identity as a Jew is partly based upon the elite Jews' need to make Christians look smarter than they really are, used as a psychological recruitment tool to try and bring more Christians into the churches to be brainwashed. Bing. However, the main reason Dixon said Bill Gates is masquerading as a quasi-Christian, even though he is really a Jew, is because there are too many prominent Jews, and they are worried that if his true identity as a Jew was ever revealed, it would put over the edge the fact that Jews owned everything in America. Dixon said Bill Gates was groomed for, and ultimately in the best position of all the elite Jews to fool the goyim into believing he is a computer mastermind, and thus, was chosen by the colluded elite Jews to act as their front man for leading the computer age and its operating system software. The operating system software everyone in the world will use to communicate with, and must be in the hands of the Jews by proxy. Bill Gates and Microsoft did not create Windows, they just threw Jewish money at it, and purchased it for $100K from two Aryans in California PBS, who actually did create it. Dixon said the main reason the elite Jews want to be in control of the premier operating system software in the world is so they can spy on everyone who uses their product, and keep a dossier on their activities, making sure all potential legitimate threats against the elite Jewry are neutralized, all in their Jewish quest for world domination. They're watching and listening to you on it now. Dixon said Microsoft's worldwide deceitful business practices of copyright infringement and hostile takeovers, of which Microsoft is internationally known for, are used and designed to stifle a truly free and innovative open software operating system marketplace from fully thriving and reaching its full evolutionary potential, an evolution the Jews want to control, but not be accused of controlling. Dixon said, by Bill Gates hiding the fact that he is Jewish, he is deflecting international criticism for his business practices onto English, German and Scottish-Irish innocents, racist he cons the worldwide goyim populace into falsely laying blame upon in this arena. Microsoft has been sued many times for these practices that only the elite Jews could get away with, and are colluded masters at. Dixon said all of the original founders of Microsoft from 1978 are Jewish, and are in collusion to keep it that way, simply by buying out, hostily taking over, or simply stealing from any company that shows a potential intellectual threat to Microsoft's dominance in the software operating system market. A marketplace, according to Dixon, which in reality is run and controlled solely by elite Jews. Microsoft, Apple, Linux, all Jews. Dixon said the all-Jewish Microsoft team from 1978 was organized by the elite Jews, as the Jews must have control of all the operating system software as a means to keep tabs on everyone. Allowing other races to take control would jeopardize the elite Jews' millennia of controlling intellectual properties and people they are trying to disseminate off the planet. These Microsoft Jews then used their Jewish money to swindle the true creators Aryans out of the operating system they created, Windows, as well as to purchase the minds of the creative non-Jewish Indians workers needed to sustain their dominance in the industry. Money rules the world, and the Jews rule the money. The majority of cops in America are of German or Irish descent, and are Christians. They are on the front line of the Jewish manipulated police state control system in America. It has to help them feel good about themselves, if they believe they are genetically connected to intellectual imposter mastermind, Bill Gates. Likewise, it has to help the elite Jews have a police force that believes they are intellectually superior to all others, including the elite Jews, who they are completely unaware of, and who fool them badly. What has Bill Gates ever done for the English, German, Scottish or Irish people? Has he ever even visited his proclaimed homelands? All true English, German, Scottish and Irish people should file a class action lawsuit against Microsoft and Bill Gates for lying about his race to the world. We should not let him get away with this trickery. http://www.jewskillprint.com/ bill-gates.php. This is Google's cache of https www.stormfront.org/forum/ T611918/ Are the Rockefellers Jews? A book overlooked by most people and published for sale mainly within the Jewish community states that the Rockefellers are Jews of Sephardic descent, meaning Spanish and Portuguese Jews. The book is entitled The Grandees, America's Sephardic Elite. The author is Stephen Birmingham, who is recognized by the Jewish community as an expert on Jewish history. http://books.google.com/ Books ID equal Q2L.FLR&PGIS = 1. The publisher of The Grandees is a Jewish-owned publishing firm of Harper and Row of New York City. Mr. Birmingham also wrote the book Our Crowd about the family background of America's wealthiest and most successful Jews. Both books have been hailed by Jewish publications as first-class works in the documentation of Jewish history. In The Grandees, Stephen Birmingham reveals the existence of a very rare book which was published only for Jews some years ago. The work was published only for Jews some years ago. The work was compiled by the Jewish historian Malcolm H. Stern and entitled Americans of Jewish Descent. That book weighed 10 pounds and gave the history of 25,000 Jewish individuals in America. It is extremely interesting to note that only 550 copies of the book were printed and each copy was consecutively numbered. The book was delivered to the top Jewish community leaders in America for their personal reference files in dealing with and contacting Jews who are Moranos, those Jews who pretend to be Christians in their community but secretly hold to their Jewish faith and race when among their own kind. Mr. Birmingham in The Grandees reports, who would expect to find the Rockefellers in the book? Stern's work traces what he calls the nobility of Jewry, the Sephardim who lived in Spain and Portugal as princes of the land. Many centuries ago the Jews flooded into Spain in great numbers and through usury and stealth became vast landowners. The Jews controlled both Spain and Portugal through the monopoly over the finances of the country. It was in 1492 that King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain expelled the Jews from their country and confiscated their ill-gotten wealth. It was during this period that the Rockefeller family moved to the Turkish Empire, which welcomed the Jews at that time, believing them to be a poor persecuted people. The grandfather of our former Vice President Nelson Rockefeller admitted that his family once moved from Turkey to France. It was from friends that they moved to America. John D. Rockefeller, Sr., was a wealthy man even before he took over Standard Oil Company, which made their family one of the richest in the world. No one has ever explained how this family came into such wealth as soon as they arrived in America from France. There is no known information on how the Rockefellers came into huge amounts of money in France. Some think they got their money from the Rothschilds and were originally their agents in buying up Christian businesses in America. Morenos are Jews who pretend to convert to Christianity so as to deceive Christians in their business dealings, but secretly continue to practice Judaism and private rituals. For this reason, a Morano family like the Rockefellers would make the perfect tool for the Rothschilds of France, who have for centuries used secret agents to carry on their work. The Thunderbolt was the first publication to bring Vice President Nelson Rockefeller's Jewish ancestry to public attention. This information finally explains why he has always been able to work so closely with Jewish interests and why his administration as governor of New York was loaded down with Jews from top to bottom. His political campaigns of the past were always directed by Jews, and he was always the support of the Jewish community in all of his political races. Normally the Jews would not support a Christian multimillionaire for political office because they would be afraid they could not control him after the election. The fact that Jewish community leaders have long known that the Rockefellers were fellow Jews goes a long way in explaining why the organized Jewish community has always supported the Rockefellers' political ambitions. Now we can see why Nelson and David Rockefeller boosted his fellow Jew Henry Kissinger into the Nixon administration, and Kissinger in turn has used his position to bring his fellow Jew Rockefeller into power. http://www.forwines10.com/ Cideron_D.P Q equal 12304282291. The Rockefellers are in fact Jewish. Rockefellers are in fact Jewish. They head up worldwide Sephardic Jewry. They are deep crypto Jews. One only need look at the photos of the Rockefeller clan to see they are Sephardic Jews and hang out with Sephardic Jews. Guys like Nick Rockefeller, Neva Goodwin Rockefeller, Jay Rockefeller, etc. Bill Clinton is the illegitimate son of Winthrop Rockefeller, and the Bush family real name is Scherf. They are German Jews and former Nazis. Prescott Bush and adopted into the Bush family and given a phony identity, along with his sons. The Rockefellers married a relative of the Rothschilds, a Gans. So it all in the family, so to speak. For now they have grafted in a few non-Jews to give World Jewish Government or World Zionist Government some cover, but these people will be disposed of. I urge you to research the Rockefeller family. They are clearly Sephardic Jews, and the second richest Jewish family in the world after the Rothschilds. Al Gore married his daughter in the Schiff banking family. Jenna Bush married a Hagar, and this family are Credo Jews. Hagar's brother married into a prominent Jewish family, who owned a large part of HBO. This new world order is so Jewish, it looks like the Last Supper, especially the Rockefellers. In addition, I knew a Rockefeller who admitted to me the family was Jewish and who would not go by the name Rockefeller, and he married a Jewish woman in the Presbyterian Church, like the Rockefellers do typically these days. Thanks for your great website, and standing up for Christ and the truth. May GD keep you from the Zionists' bloody hands. Shalom. http://www.realchwanews.com/ P equal 216, Invictus 9:25 p.m. June 20, 2009. I think every man and his dog is well aware they are Jews. Lamprecht 9:27 p.m. June 20, 2009. Originally posted by The Rockefeller Liberal Connection. In many ways, the Rockefeller family works step by step with the Jewish Zionist and Soviet conspiracies. John D. Rockefeller was a monopolist who followed in the way of many Jews whose control of industries, especially banking, demonstrated the manner in which power, once achieved, might be forever wielded from the top, high above the citizens of the world's nations. Although the Rockefellers claim to be Christian Protestants, their activities are so similar to those of their Jewish brethren that there seems to be little mistake that they tend to follow the leader. Perhaps this is because their mentors in monopolizing the oil industry and the many conglomerates which they control have led them into the deepest realms of the grand conspiracy to control the nations of the world through leftist political approaches, one world orders, and Soviet-type top-down planning. The Rockefeller fortune is so large that it literally eclipses the income of entire nations where Rockefeller oil is pumped. Countries like each and every African nation, the Southeast Asian countries, and small nations in the southern hemisphere of the Americas. Its operations are streamlined top-down and down-up to side-down, a manner typical of communist regimes. The Rockefellers' job as conspirators seems to be penetration and compromise of the Republican Party. The Rockefellers are representative of the left-wing liberal Soviet side of republicanism. Some think that the Rockefellers are a part of the internationalist conspiracy, because their holdings are international, and a war would disrupt the revenue stream significantly and might threaten all of them. Peace by any means is a method used by internationalists to maintain their power and wealth. Also, http://web.archive.org/web/ 200711100.il_chrono.html, looking for a fight 9:49 p.m. June 20, 2009, originally posted by Invictus. I think every man and his dog is well aware they are Jews. Not every site that names the Jew knows or identifies them as true Jews. http://www.jew-leaders-rockefeller.html. David Rockefeller, owner of Chase Manhattan Bank, former chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations and founder of the Trilateral Commission. Though not a Jew, Rockefeller is a Rothschild stooge. http://www.realtwanews.com/ P=216. But looking to their faces you can see their Sephardic, and also Ashkenazi ancestry. Forever Free 10:31 p.m. June 20, 2009. Okay, what then was the Rockefellers' original name? Rothschildvitz? John? Looking for a fight 4:39 a.m. June 21, 2009. Originally posted by Forever Free. Okay, what then was the Rockefellers' original name? Rothschildvitz? John? The meaning of the name Rockefeller is from Rockenfeld, Germany. The origin of the name Rockefeller is American. Jews usually change their names. The name is an anglicized version of the German Rockenfelder or Rockenfler, meaning from Rockenfeld. The Rockefellers' origin can be explicitly traced back to the villages of Ilscheid, Segendorf and Fahrenheit, all suburbanized to Neuwied, Rhineland-Palatinate. These are neighbor to the small settlement of Rockenfeld, part of Neuwied's Quarterfeldkirchen. In Germany, Rockenfler is known as a family name. Family records and parish registers reach back to the end of the 30 Years' War. The earliest known ancestors, direct line, are Goddard Rockenfler, ca. 1590, Johann Wilhelm Rockenfler, ca. 1628, 1702, and Johannes Rockenfler, ca. 1634, 1684. Johann Peter, 1682, son of Johannes, moved in 1723 to Ringgoes, New Jersey. Johann Thiel, 1695, grandson of Johann Wilhelm, immigrated in 1735 to Germantown, New York. William Avery Rockefeller was looking for a noble descent and a possible connection to a French Huguenot family. De Roquefeuille was discussed. However, this is unlikely because the name Rockenfeld is recorded in the region long before the Huguenots fled France. 1685. http://en.wikipedia.org/ wiki/ Rockefeller_family. G. Bonaventure 11:56 p.m. June 22, 2009. Sounds like it. Jews and Turkish Freemasons? They probably are. What kind of Episcopalians and Methodists are the Bushes, I wonder? A far-ranging Da Vinci Code review could have Tom Hanks and Ron Howard uncovered as Jews as well, I wonder. http://judicial-inc.biz/ 8_Henry_Bush.htm. And John's plane crash was an accident? JFK Jr. just crashed by accident? I don't believe it. Looking for a fight 12:18 a.m. June 23, 2009. http://www.rbf.org/ grants database/ gr.?doc_id = 616817. We demand universal peace. Now, war is always a crime. Destroy weapons of self-destruction, not people. universalpeace.adeblogs.org. universalpeace.jimdo.com. youtube.com/ Ulrich BC Hoffman FFN. Electronic mail, ulrichbchoffman@gmail.com. Skype, Perlogic 999. Back on Facebook, anti-human culling and depopulation community page. We demand universal peace, now. All believers are insane, but sometimes I like insane people better than sane ones. Bill Gates, polio vaccine program causes 47,500 deaths. Red alert. Is Bill Gates' mosquito mutant spreading disease in South America? 8 votes. Genetically modified mosquitoes developed by Bill Gates could be at the heart of the current Zika outbreak ravaging Brazil, it has emerged. The carrier of the Zika virus, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, was genetically modified by the British company Oxitec, which has received funding from Bill Gates. birdflu666.wordpress.com Depopulation, Zika virus funded by Bill Gates. yournewswire.com Genetically modified mosquitoes have few proven benefits. www.needtimes.com/ may be put at risk by genetically modified mosquitoes. www.dailymail.co.uk/ January 11, 2012. Human health and the environment may be put at risk by genetically modified mosquitoes. By Sean Poulter for the Daily Mail, updated 0008 GMT, January 12, 2012. Read more, http://www.dailymail.co.uk/ Science attack / article -20853885/ human-health-environment-risk-genetically-modified-mosquitoes.html/ixc439pdw9gj. Follow us at Mail Online on Twitter, Daily Mail on Facebook. Oxitec has always argued that the male GM insects will routinely die a short period after being released and mating in the wild, so having no long-term impact. However, this has been challenged by Friends of the Earth, GeneWatch UK and the Third World Network Organization. They say the evidence of the company's own research, some of which was released under the Freedom of Information Act, questions this assurance. Read more, http://www.d. Life always finds a way. Jurassic Park. They say the evidence of the company's own research, some of which was released under the Freedom of Information Act, questions this assurance. Read more, http://www.dailymail.co.uk/ Science Attack/ Article 2085385/ human-health-environment-risk-genetically-modified-mosquitoes.html/ixcz439pjxk2n. Follow us at Mail Online on Twitter, Daily Mail on Facebook. Zika virus outbreak linked to release of genetically engineered mosquitoes. Disastrous unintended consequences now threaten life across the Americas. Monday, February 1, 2016, by Mike Adams, The Health Ranger. Now we may be seeing the first wave of the horrific destruction that can be unleashed by self-replicating genetically modified organisms. The Zika virus, now spreading with unbridled ferocity, appears to have been caused by the release of genetically engineered mosquitoes that scientists hoped would sharply reduce malaria infections. The Zika virus outbreak currently gripping the Americas could have been sparked by the release of genetically modified mosquitoes in 2012, reports the Mirror. The insects were engineered by biotechnology experts to combat the spread of dengue fever and other diseases and released into the general population of Brazil in 2012. The Aedes aegypti mosquito subspecies that carries both the Zika virus and dengue was the type targeted with genetically modified mosquitoes. A whole new epidemic caused by foolish genetic engineering that alters entire ecosystems. At least 4,000 babies in Brazil have been born with microcephaly over just the last 4 months, and the spread of Zika virus is rapidly exploding. Here's just one photo showing the horrific deformations believed to be caused by Zika, carried by mosquitoes. Alarmingly, the very same scientists who pushed for the release of the genetically engineered mosquitoes that may have caused all this are also now calling for more genetically engineered mosquitoes which they claim will solve this problem. Summer mosquito curtain picture printing magic mesh screen door mosquito net magnetic anti. SOS. Stop out of control signs by the health ranger. Naturalnews.com. Why Bill Gates is being blamed for the Zika virus, Wednesday, February 3, 2016 by Daniel Barker. Natural News. The latest revelation regarding the Zika virus involves a genetically altered mosquito project funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, an experiment which some suspect may have caused the rapid spread of a once rare disease that is now expected to circulate around the globe. Zika virus has been linked to a birth defect called microcephaly, which causes babies to be born with brain damage and unusually small hands. Brazil has been labeled the epicenter of the Zika virus outbreak, with more than 1 million cases reported there. Perhaps not coincidentally, Brazil is also the site where the GM mosquito project was carried out, and it involved the same strain of mosquito said to be responsible for the spread of the virus.
Okie dokie, I'm gonna get some tea. So you can all read the articles for yourselves. This is an impression of what we can read more about in the articles. Natural news is usually very good.
Press charges as a group against the Jews that want to depopulate the earth so that it gets media attention, and the poor losers go to jail. They want to trick you into believing they do not want to kill all non-Jews. One of the ways they are attempting to do this is being members of the Church of Satan and or Luciferian, while in reality secretly maintaining Jewish practices, wiping out non-Jews, and doctors and lawyers are helping with their depopulation. Their big lie is of course that God exists. Their neural network is not God. They torture people with directed energy weapons, their voice of God weapon. The voice of dog, not God, of course. I am not an anti-Semite because, 1. I do not want to kill all Jews but want to make everyone that is not an accomplice to torturing me eternal. 2. I advocate to populating the people that advocate to populating the earth, first Jews and non-Jews that advocate that. There are too many goyim to wipe out, aren't there? Religion is really at the heart of the depopulation, torture, wars, and a very important control tool and way to select people with a low IQ. Pentagram equals pentagram, cross, unified currency resistance, cash, less society, alcoholical, democide that. Sometimes having no opinion is the only way to survive, sometimes the opposite is true. Arrest Putin, jail. It's not gonna happen. They pretend that the cancer chemtrail depopulation is legal under the Poison, Open Sky Treaty, made by I don't know. The White Power movement, for example, could press charges of incitement to commit genocide against the Jewish people that want to depopulate the earth. They use slow and soft kill to get away with it. What to say to maintain the delicate balance? There are two grow-ups, the people with the death ray and the people without the death ray. Opposition to Zionism? New anti-Semitism low. Anti-Luciferian oath? Anti-Masonism. Depoppers are stupid hate trolls. The Israelis I have met were really nice people. Some Jewish people have killed themselves because of the same people that have tortured my mother to death with Haarp. I consider all religions an abomination, but not the Israeli people as a whole. You could argue I am pro-Zionism because I am for giving the land from Dan to Beersheba to the Jewish people, including the Temple Mount, to avoid a third fucking world war. Because God does not exist, it cannot be built by a miracle, and miracles do not exist. Zionism is not anti-Semitism. The land from Dan to Beersheba, famous biblical quote. So anti-Zionists are not anti-Semites. They are two different words with each their own meaning. The Orthodox Jew would not be rounded up, but the non-Jewish anti-Jewish people would be, of course. Very clever. The Muslims consider Mecca holier than the Temple Mount. I hate to see what they have done to the children of the world with depleted uranium. Polio GMO is a new idea. Never jump, never give up your guns, there is no hereafter. You can hurry, love. No. You just have Kuwait. If you can't beat it, join it. Zika. They don't need anybody, they can clone anybody. They've got your blood, your DNA. And your DNA is patented. Zionism is anti-Semitism. Cancer chemtrails. Also dispersed on the Israeli people. Israelism. You all heard it. Mainstream media. Jews made up 90% of the first Bolshevik governments. Quote from YouTube.